Happy Sunday, friends. Okay, so I probably will post this most likely Monday, but I just wanted to give a very authentic Sunday message, a very authentic from the heart message. So I look a little bit Sunday, I look a little bit weekend, and that's okay. My hair is a little bit cray-cray, but I'm in some real energy, and I just wanted to let you guys know this is a season where I've truly realized that sometimes we are fighting, and fighting for survival. And we get to a point where we start to realize, oh my God, I'm getting really, really, really tired. And that's usually when God is there to actually remind us that we really did not have to fight like life as much as we did. When you get into a position where you feel like you have to be in survival mode, we have to remember that God is not trying to keep us in survival mode. Survival mode is something that we stay in, and it activates things like fight or flight, or it activates a lot of our childhood wounds, or it activates areas of us that we may not be solely comfortable with, and it might scream, help me, or scream like, I don't know if I can handle this, or even scream like the deepest forms of anxiety. But also there's a part of us, those that have been in so much survival mode at some point, where we have that almost like stamp of memory, where we also start to realize that survival mode is no longer survival mode. It's like kick into gear mode. It's like, okay, God is about to come mode. It's like God is going to come and really help the situation. God is going to come and really, prevent us from feeling like we're doing this by ourselves. And so I want you guys to take a second to process that. Anything that is supposed to be yours, some people say that, if it's supposed to be yours, it should be like butter. Not necessarily. We've learned that in countless stories. A lot of things that we are actually trying to stand up for can be very complicated. But if you know how to recognize God's signature in things, if you know how to recognize God's voice, if you know how to recognize God's rhythm, if you know how to recognize God's pattern on how he shows up in your life, there's nothing to be afraid about. We have to remember that a lot of the earthly things that go on in this realm, right? We hear things, certain words that portray something so negative. Like if you think of a breakup, or if you think of losing something really important in your life, maybe losing a job, or if you think I don't know, some kind of restriction or limit that comes off to the everyday human as, oh my gosh, this is going to affect you for so long or for the rest of your life. This is all earthy stuff. These are all things that someone who doesn't understand God's signature wouldn't recognize, that restriction might just be a way for God to kind of put a block into a location that you don't need to go down that path. So that way it keeps your path solely strict towards where you're supposed to go, and it's more clarity. So understand, once you sign up to be one of God's soldiers, once you sign up to be one of God's warriors to bring God's kingdom about, understand that things may not make sense to the average person, and things that look like restrictions to other people may actually be just a way that God can keep you lock and key in the path that he has for you, so that way you're going straight and you're not getting distracted by other things. Everything will show up in the best way that it needs to be. So if you feel like you're restricted by, I don't know, a job, money will show up. If you feel like you're restricted by a relationship, it may need to end, but that doesn't mean that you don't have all the tools that you need in order to get to the next level that God wants you to be at. If you feel restricted by things that seem like, oh my God, there's no way I'm going to get out of this, pray about it. Talk to God about it, because many times they're just gifts that you don't even realize until you just stop fighting it. And so you stop going into survival mode and see it as an activation for something so much greater. So I'm going to make another video about this where it talks about understanding the elements of K2. And K2 in Vedic astrology is really, really speaking on this point about how something that once seemed like it was a restriction, or it's something that is a force of detachment. It's once you detach from that very thing, there is so much energy towards like awareness in that. Like you have absolutely the ability to enter into an understanding of Akashic records that are in the background of whatever it is that you need to detach from, that it's like it becomes a library. It becomes the ability for you to enter into new energy, new direction, with so much more knowledge about how to get through that next season, that you realize that the previous season you thought was a restriction was actually just preparation. So I just wanted to give this short message to you guys, a notice of a message and a notice of like love, a message of, inspiration, and a message of just kind of bringing like reality to the forefront, but also like bringing patience, bringing temperance, bringing, the ability to talk to God about it and wait for an answer. And I think it will truly be great for you. So be well, be loving, enter into this world no matter what you feel like has happened to you, no matter how you feel like things have caved in. Just have a little patience and understand that it is your response to the situation that really gives you the next ability to either amplify love, amplify your ability to listen to what God wants you to do, and for you to be able to truly feel like I don't necessarily have to be in survival mode and make decisions out of lower energy that I wouldn't normally accept, but that I could actually maybe have a space now to really truly listen to what God wants me to listen to, and then from that make decisions that are out of rebuilding mode or out of comeback mode or out of just a new journey mode. And truthfully, it's honorably and lovingly and gratefully a gift. So happy Sunday and have a beautiful day. Bye guys.